the next main question that people ask me after they ask what kind of books I write, and I try to stumble through some kind of answer that's somewhat cohesive, is what age do you write for? And I'm just as bad at answering that question because I don't. So writing 101, you take writing classes and they're like, know your audience. I even had writing classes where they said, like, think of a specific person you know and think about that person while you're writing, like write for that person. And I don't do that at all. I write the story that I think needs to be told. I don't think about who it's for. Now, not that I don't care about who's reading it, of course. When I'm doing edits, I definitely try to make things understandable. I try to communicate. I think about different types of people who might read it and try to communicate to those people. I definitely care about the reader, but when I'm initially writing the story, I just want to be true to the story. So I don't ever have a particular age in mind. I will say that I love all of them and I'm an adult, so I tend to think of my books as books for adults. That said, I have some books that are much more youthful in tone. The characters are quite young, and some of the themes are younger. I have some of my books that are more definitely like mature themes. I wouldn't think of a younger teen like reading them. It could, probably, but they're more those older themes. But then again, one of my books that I would put in a definitely adult category is simply because the main characters are in their 30s. But my 14-year-old niece has told me that it's one of her absolute favorites in my books. So I've had readers as young as 10 and as old as in their 90s and everywhere in between. I've had men and women read them. Actually, I just lied. I said as young as 10, but I have an update to that. My son wanted me to tell y'all. So my 7-year-old, I just wrote a book, and I'm hoping to publish it in the next few months, and I wrote it, and he begged me to read it to him. This is before I had done any edits on it or anything, and I read the beginning of it to him, and actually, of all my books, I was like, this one is one that actually might work for a 7-year-old, because some of my books I would not read to him at this juncture, because of what's in them and stuff. So I started reading it, and then the next day he asked me to read more, and within a few days we had read the entire book. He's very excited, he's very proud of this, and it was so great. The next morning, he came downstairs to breakfast, and he's like, you know, I was thinking about that story, and he goes on to tell me all of these like real life parallels that he had noticed in the story. It's my dream. So yeah, so now I have a younger range. My range is from 7 to in their 90s. Because of the ICA. But